Okay, so good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is refreshed and ready to rock and roll and make some good money today. We've got a lot of volatility already in this pre-market action, which is very, very good for us. For everyone on YouTube, you already know it. Smash that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can follow our content every single day. And give us a follow on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and come join our open Discord community. If you want to check us out for our live trading room and swing trading room, we offer a 3-day free pass. Check us out. If you love what you see, you can subscribe and just make money with us every day. So let's get right at it. Draftkings. Draftkings came out with actually really big news, guys. So they nailed a deal with Dish Network. And there's going to be some integration with Dish Network and the Draftkings offering and services for Dish customers. So immediately what I think about that is DraftKings is now going to be exposed and have a huge market opportunity for them to capture with the Dish Network customers. Very, very, very interesting news, very good news. I want to say at the end of January, if you guys remember, we called to swing DraftKings when it was at like the $53, $54 range. If you're still holding it, you're up 20 points in what? Not even 2 months, maybe a month and a week. So I don't know if any of y'all are still holding DraftKings. Excellent stock, man. This stock is a winner, dude. Especially from that breakout of all-time highs when we played it the other day. So it's breaking out again today, all-time highs. I would just be cautious. It's made a significant move already. It's up 5 points already in pre-market. The market is selling off. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ went red on the day after the reaction of the poor jobs report that ADP shared with the market earlier this morning. So be careful with your longs today. That's all I've got to say. Sometimes you can have really good news for DraftKings, and because of the market pressure, it could come back down. Or DraftKings can just buck the trend and just keep rallying while the market sells off. I don't have a crystal ball to tell you what it's going to do. Just be cautious and be aware of what's happening in the market, right? So for DraftKings, the way I see it is this. We can go long. We'd have to put our stops at about 72 bucks, right? Stops at 72. If it falls below 72, then it might just end up, filling a little bit more of the gap of this pre-market rally, and we may even look to short it. However, this news is really strong. This strategic agreement is really good, so I think I'm more long biased here, but I'll trade the charts. I don't care what it does. But all I know is that DraftKings is in play. Another name that I really like, I'm going to keep an eye on Fubo here. Fubo reported earnings yesterday. If you guys recall, yesterday I dumped my entire position on Fubo by I sold my last bit of shares at $43. Look at it now at $38. I feel like a freaking genius. So for me, I can, if I like the company, I can buy back in at a cheaper price and just repeat my same strategy. But nonetheless, it attempted to rally a little bit. It almost touched $41. Now it's back to 38 and change. I think Fubo is going to be very volatile today. And if Fubo breaks below this pre-market low, and if it definitely breaks below like $38, we could look to short this stock. So that's what I'm looking at. To be honest, Fubo is not really going to be like an A-list stock for me, but I just wanted to bring it up because it is in play. There's good volume in it in pre-market. RKT is another one. This is going to be an A-list stock for me. So yesterday we had a lot of fun with it. I unfortunately missed that afternoon rally when it broke out of 30 bucks. I am so jealous of all of you in Stack who got it yesterday. But nonetheless, look at it. Pre-market hit a high of like past 48.50. Now it's back down to 36 bucks. So if RKT wants to pick up a rally, it has to break above 37.50 for me to get interested in it to go long. If it breaks pre-market lows, 35.84, short it. So that's what I see on RKT. It's consolidating now. It's been in a nice tight range for the past 30, 45 minutes. I hope it stays there for the next 15 minutes, so when the market opens, we have a good entry point, whether it's long or short. So RKT is going to be an A-list stock for me. The overall market, I'm going to keep a very close eye on the overall market, specifically tech names. Both the SPY and the NASDAQ are trading identical. Let me take a look at the Russell 2000. Russell 2000 is a bit stronger, but there is weakness in it. Right now, the NASDAQ is bear flagging. So if the NASDAQ breaks below 316.50, I'm definitely going to get my hands on some puts, and I'll put my stops at 317.35 or 40, right? So I'm going to risk about $1 per share. But when I trade the NASDAQ or like the triple Qs or the SPYs, I always play them with options contracts. Why? You can load up on those options contracts. The spread tends to be like less than 5 cents. So the spread is really good. Always a lot of volume. So I really love playing the overall indices with options contracts. Such a great way to make easy money, especially when the market sells off the way it has been over the past couple days. For the NASDAQ on the daily chart, there's some trouble in it, man. There is some trouble. Taj and I, we were talking about it. It's getting rejected off of some key levels. And let me just adjust my chart here a little bit. Put the 50-day. It got rejected off not only the 8MA and the 50MA. And what do you have here? If you zoom in a little bit on my charts, the 8MA just crossed below the 50. Not good. Not good for the market. 2 days ago, I specifically said that. I said if the 8MA crosses below the 50, we're in trouble. If you don't believe me, look at the pre-market analysis from 2 days ago. You'll hear my exact words. So it is coming to life. Exactly what Taj and I predicted. So I'm looking to short the hell out of the market. When the NASDAQ is weak, Tesla is weak. And you know me, guys. I love Tesla. Tesla's my baby. So I am definitely going to short Tesla today if the market sells off. If Tesla breaks below 682, get those puts, baby. Let's make that money, all right? If the market decides to rally, if it breaks above 688, I'll buy some calls. Maybe I'll scalp the calls because I am short biased today. So Tesla is going to be on my A list. The NASDAQ is going to be on my A list. I'm also looking at this stock, Ocgn. Ocgn is a biotech. I normally don't trade biotechs, but I like this one today. Why? Merrill Edge allows me to short it and I can buy it. So because I can play both ways on it, it's definitely on my A list. Ocgn is gapping up today. I forgot the news. I had it off the top of my head. Gapping up today because their COVID-19 vaccine candidate demonstrates 81% efficacy in phase 3 trial. So we've got a COVID-19 vaccine, good efficacy rate, and pull up a daily chart. On February 8th, this stock ran up to 19 bucks. So what does that tell me? And like, look, back in December, this thing was a penny stock. So this stock can run, right? So I'm going to keep a very close eye on it because if this stock wants to get a rally on it, and if it breaks above 14, whoa, we are long this stock. This is one that you can get good amount of size on, whether it's shares. Taj, do you know if this has options contracts? Let me take a quick look.
Yep.
It does? Okay.
That and KMPH both have options contracts.
Excellent, excellent. So for those of you who prefer just to trade options, Ocgn is definitely, you want to have one on your list. So here's what I see. If Ocgn breaks above $12.75, I'm going to go long. I'm going to keep my stops really tight, $12.20. I'm only risking 50 cents on this trade, right? And if it breaks out of $12.75, my target is going to be $13.30 and then pre-market high of 14 bucks. If it rips out of 14, hallelujah. Now, if it decides to sell off, if it breaks below 12 bucks, short it. Put your stops at like $12.50. You're only risking 50 cents on the trade for potential downside. Maybe target could be $11.40, okay? So that's my trade or my idea on Ocgn. Other than that, Nasdaq just broke the low. Tesla's coming down, so I gotta wait for my opportunities there. RKT, that's 3. And what was the other one? Oh, Draftkings. So Draftkings, RKT, OCGN, Tesla, the Nasdaq, the SPY. Those are going to be my A list for today. So Tosh.
So a couple of other names that I'll be adding to the list, kind of slightly mentioned them, was KNPH. So this is going to be another cheap name that's gapping up pretty significantly. It closed at $9.40 on yesterday, and they gapped all the way up to currently $60.40. Had a high of $21. The lower portion is around $14. So they announced FDA approved. I'm gonna butcher what that even says, but it's a treatment for ADHD. It's like Distraza or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah. But nonetheless, really good news. Obviously one of the bio names. So the way I see it, if KMPH starts to trade back above $18, $17.90, $18, we can definitely look for some longs. There are options contracts available for this thing. So again, this is another stock that could really run. The volume is really good on it, especially the past 30 minutes. We've been doing around 500,000 to 1 million shares per 5-minute candlestick. Yeah. So if it breaks out above $18, we can look for a long. We will have to give it a little room. We'll have to throw our stops around $16.50. So there is some range with this stock. But nonetheless, there's really no big resistance until around that $20, $21 range. So it has a lot of room to the upside, but just keep in mind that you are going to have to give it a bit of a range right out of the gates. So I like KMPH. That's going to be one of the names I'll be watching this morning on the A list. Another name I do like the UWMC. We've yet to find any news on it. But, hey, I'll trade the chart, right? The chart looked really good. It recently just broke out of the intraday high around here, around 1190. And now we're having a pullback. We have a high of 1249, pullback to 1180. So one thing that we could do, if it starts to base out here, it's right near its 8 of May on the 5-minute chart. If we get a bounce here, we can look for an entry around 1250. Throw our stops here at 1180. I'm looking on the daily chart. There's really no resistance. Until around like $13 and some change, $13.60, maybe even the all-time high, $14.38, or at least a yearly high. So this stock has a lot of range. It's clearly being heavily traded right now. So I'm definitely going to be adding this to the list as well. Like Alex mentioned, today is a day the entire market is moving, specifically tech. That's been the weakest sector as of late, right? If you look at the Qs compared to the S&P, the Qs have been a little weaker on the daily chart. So with that being in mind, you guys know I love to trade Apple. So whenever I get the opportunity to do so, I'm going to take advantage of it. So I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on Apple today. It was forming a nice bear flag here that recently broke right on the prior candlestick. Yep, still trading down. So we did miss the entry along with the Qs. The Qs are doing the same. So we're going to have to be patient. We don't want to chase it down here. Let's let it form some type of base here before we start looking to, get in on the play. But what I would love to see is maybe Apple out of the gates rally up to 125, and some change, and then come back down, form a topping tail bar, and look for a short entry. That would kind of be my dream scenario. But hey, if it doesn't play out that way, then by all means, we'll just have to sit on our hands and be a little patient. Another name that I like to watch is I'm going to be keeping an eye on NEO. So what I like about NEO is if you look on the daily chart, NEO had a really bad day yesterday. Closed right near 43.29, had a low of 42.66. And if you look on my charts here, I actually have some key support levels drawn out here, right at $42. And that's exactly what NEO bounced off yesterday. So I'm interested to see if NEO is going to continue to break down today or possibly get a bounce off of this prior support. Neo has very strong support from $42 dating back to the end of December, and then obviously February 23rd, the big bounce that it had. So this could potentially be a triple bottom down here on Neo. Neo is gapping up slightly, about 80 cents. So thus far, it's holding it, but we'll see how it behaves if the market starts to sell off. So if Neo starts to catch a bounce, we could look for a potential long entry around 44.20. There are stops around 43.90, 43.80. So from a risk-reward perspective, it's pretty solid. There's really no resistance until around 44.60, and then the next one's going to be around 44.90. However, if Neo starts to break down below 43.50, we could definitely look for a short. We will have to throw our stops around $44, looking at about a 50-cent risk. But that's an easy, at least 1-to-1, 2-to-1 trade down to yesterday's low. And if it starts to break that, there's really no support until around $38. So there's really good range on Neo. That's going to more so be on my B list. And look at Neo breaking out right now. So there was the long entry right there. So again, we'll have to be patient with Neo out of the gates and see, look for a better entry. Let's see, Alex already went over Draftkings. There was one more. Oh, one more name that I just want to keep an eye on. It's going to be on my B list, but I really want to see what it does at these key levels, is Virgin Galactic, Space. Space, if you look on the daily chart, is really starting to break down. Yeah. We are gapping up slightly here, but it's really taken a beating, over the past month of February. Right from its all-time highs around $63, we are all the way down at $33. This is down to 50% of its all-time highs.
Smackdown.
If you look at a chart, yeah, it just got smacked down, man. If you look at Draftkings' old chart, it looks very similar to it. Draftkings had a very similar rally, right? Rallied up from 40 all the way up to 65, and then guess what? Lost half its value down to $35 and then bounced, right? Mm-hmm. I just want to keep an eye on Space. Keep an eye on Space to see if something like this can happen. If we can find a support down here today, or if we continue to break down. Thus far, the pre-market data, it does have support here around 34.40, 34.50. So if you'd like, you could look for a short, see if we can get some continuation to the downside. I do expect some continuation to the downside because yesterday was such an ugly day for Space. Pretty much opened at its high, closed at its low. Oftentimes than not, that it had nearly a $5 range on a $30 stop. That's a pretty significant loss for Space. Yeah. So I do expect some downside. However, if we find some support, we could definitely even potentially look for a counter trade, right? A reversal play for a swing trade or something like that, right? So I just really want to keep an eye on Space for most of the day. The last trade I'll go over is Carnival Cruise Line, CCL. So CCL initially was gapping up here around 8 a.m. and then started to sell off when the market started to really accelerate to the downside. So it was looking really great. It was bull flagging up here right at the highs and then sold off. However, it is starting to reclaim some of the losses that it had. It had a much stronger bounce than the rest of the market. So that just goes to show that the overall sector is pretty strong, or at least the name individually is. So the way I see it, if CCL starts to break above 28.35, we could definitely look for a long. Throw our stops around 28.11, 28.10. However, if it breaks down below 28.10, we could do just the opposite. We could short it and throw our stops around 28.30, 28.40. Yeah. I am a little more towards the long side with CCL because this is a daily bull flag that it briefly broke out of as it broke out above 28.58 in the pre-market data. So I do have a little bit more of a long bias. However, just keep in mind, if the market is weak today, be careful. Be careful trying to force this long position. If the market's strong today, I think CCL is going to be a great candidate to look for a long and potentially have a big day. So this is a name that's going to be on my A-ish list. It's not the top, but it's gonna be on the A list. But other than that, that's pretty much my main list. Rocket is going to be at the top for me, along with Draftkings, then KMPH and OCGN. And then UWMC. I really like the biotech names today. I think we're gonna have some volatility with those names.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, guys. So with that being said, thanks for tuning in on YouTube, and we'll see you guys later.